This was originally going to be another Chainsaw Man analysis video, but I think putting something else out here would be a little bit better. So I decided, let's talk about one of my other favorite pieces of media, Night in the Woods. I first played this game when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school and I asked my grandma to buy it for me for the Switch. I booted it up and I instantly loved this game, and the music had this soul-speaking feel to it and the art style too. But to this day, I realized that I really don't remember what this game was about, at least not anything that wasn't at face value. So I, 3 years later, have decided to replay the game again, see what the game was about, and analyze it. What is the message or messages behind Night in the Woods? So for us to answer this question, let's see what the more general plot is. Night in the Woods is a 2017 single-player adventure video game developed by Infinite Fall, Secret Lab, and published by Finji. Set in a world of zoomorphic animals, the story follows a young woman named May who drops out of college and returns to her hometown to find unexpected changes. So now that we know what the basic plot is, let's get started. At the start of the game, we learn that May was supposed to go to a college in Possum Springs. She decided to drop out instead and moved in back with their parents. After returning home, she goes to find all of her friends, and when she returns and finds them, all her friends have new lives, with Greg, her best friend, now working at a snack shack. After some talking, her and Greg go to a tunnel. I think it's a tunnel. I don't know. Anyway, they go there to have a band meeting with two other friends, Bea and Angus. She says hi, they say hello, all that jazz. Later, they go out to eat pizza at a restaurant, and after eating their food, May asks her friends why they haven't played out yet, which is basically just performing live in front of an audience. Bea tells her they can't, as they have actual lives now. They have jobs. She even goes to question what May is doing, why she is here in the first place. Clearly, kind of judging her a bit. May told her though that college wasn't for her, and Bea gets kind of irritated at that fact. Why? Well, we'll get into that later. After learning all this, it kind of leaves May in a bad spot. She feels like she's behind and that she needs to do something. While she's returning home, excited to see friends and have fun, everyone else around her seems to be moving so far up in life, making her feel like she is worse than them. It paws on even worse with the argument that May and her mother have later in the game, where her mom confronts her about her decision, leaving that pit in May's stomach, a feeling of failure. She even says this: maybe you wanted to get out of here because you never got around to doing it yourself. Maybe I'm just the most recent failure in the line of failures that is our family. Concluding this message or point, this one is about loneliness and May's deeper feeling of not being enough or a failure. This is kind of a shorter point, but you know, we talk what we talk. Like mentioned before, Bea does not support May's decision of leaving college, but even so, she was still there for her throughout the game. At a party that May and her friends go to, May gets drunk and Bea has to take her home. She tells Bea to tell her mother that she said hi. Bea gets mad at her because her mom's been dead since senior year of high school, which she told May back then. She then tells May this: what happened to you? You used to be cool. You used to be smart. You used to be worth talking to. Why did you even come back? Did college not work out for you? Was it inconvenient? I would have killed for that. I still would. I'd kick you out of this moving car right now if it meant I could go to college. She lets it all out on May. But May is crying and being hysterical in her car. Even though Bea is angered towards May, she still helps her inside and puts her in bed. Why do I include this in my point? Because Bea recognizes that she is also going through a rough time, that she is not in the right space right now. Even though Bea is going through her own stuff, she still cares deeply for May, even if she has to build up the strength to do so. All that May has right now is her friends, and all that they have is each other. In the game, the four are all going through some sort of rough patch, with Greg and Angus trying to fix their relationship issues, Bea dealing with their mother's passing, and May dealing with trying to find herself with everyone around her moving on. Even though everyone is going through their own situation, they will always make time for each other. May doesn't know what she wants or what to do with herself. Because of this, she grows a hate for herself a little bit, a feeling of being a waste of space. Later in the game, though, she learns that she isn't alone and that she doesn't have to go through anything by herself. At first, though, she feels like her life sucks and it is a dumpster fire. All the stuff that she's putting in her head and all the stuff that she's seeing or hearing is not making things better either. Seeing all friends move on, the argument with Bea and the argument with her mother all add gas to the fire. Even though it's not intentional from them, it does add stuff. And all this does is just put May into a depression. She feels like she's in a void, an emptiness, alone. Even though her friends show constants of being there for her, she still feels like she's being left behind. She realizes later that this isn't the case. She isn't being left behind at all. She's going too far ahead. She's jumping to all these conclusions, but it isn't true. Nobody thinks she's a failure, and even if she did do something disappointing, May just hasn't grown yet. She just hasn't found something for herself, but that's okay. Bringing up the Bea and May argument earlier, when Bea takes her inside, she says this: "I stayed here and grew older while you left and remained the same." She knows that May just hasn't had that change yet. College was never going to change who she was. That's why it wasn't for her. It wasn't going to change her as a person or make her something great. She had to do that and find that herself. She had to look for something that she could live with, something that she could get by on. May has multiple dreams throughout the story where she's destroying things. I feel like these dreams represent how May feels like she's tearing down her own life. Another dream, she talks to a god, which I will dive into more later, which I feel like is kind of to bring her comfort or clarity, bringing some type of reasoning within herself to give herself comfort of what she's going through. I also want to mention the two routes in this game. There is the Bea route and then there's the Greg route. For each route, you can choose to hang out with Bea or Greg. Whoever you hang out with the most, though, you will get their ending. This is important because you are forming a bond with them in the game, and by the end, you form a complete bond with them. Bea's route is important because she helps May find herself. Bea is more of a serious friend, whereas Greg is more laid back. But while he is a great friend, Bea offers May more advice and is more cold to her, which kind of gives May a reality check. My first playthrough, I stuck with Greg though because I thought he was pretty cool, but this time I stuck with Bea's. Greg is important as well because he is there for comfort and is willing to discuss anything, also handing out advice and being there whenever he is needed. With Beatrice, her route is still fun, but she does offer more cold truths than Greg. This is important for May to realize that she needs to grow, but also that she's not doing it by herself. On both sides, they offer great advice and are people who are there for May. I will show Greg's now, and I will dive deeper into Bea's later. In this hangout with Beatrice, we get to see a little more of her home life. Beatrice and her father are low on money, so they need to spend little when paying for groceries. May offers to help and even offers to have dinner with them. Bea is hesitant at first, but she lets her come by for the night. After getting all the groceries, we head to Bea's house and we cut to after everyone has tried the food. It was awful. Bea and her dad get into a mini argument where it's clear that Bea's father doesn't really treat her well. Anyway, Bea and May have a pretty lengthy conversation, which I will show now. Now, the choices these people made are a little bit different than mine, but we still end up in the same direction, where you choose to help Bia or be a little arrogant. We find out, or at least I'm assuming, that her coworker Creek had assaulted her. Now, I'm going to be honest and say this is kind of a stretch, but from the context of the scene, I am assuming that is what happened. After this, though, May calls Bia badass and she gets angry at her, again calling out May's immaturity. In a situation like this, I can see where B is coming from, because yeah, maybe probably does care about what happened, but her choice of words can be very careless, putting up a front that makes it seem like she doesn't care at all. At the near end of the argument, B says this: "You like how you were the other night, but all the time, running around messing with people and taking whatever you want, while the whole mall is falling around you." After this, May leaves. It's clear that while B appreciates May as a friend, she is tired of her calling out her immaturity. May doesn't really understand B's issues and, in a way, kind of undermines them, which again makes May feel like because to her, she was only trying to help B. In this case, it's better not to speak on things you don't really know about, at least not without asking first. Near the end of the game, May and her friends go to look for a ghost that May suspiciously has found, right? So basically, after she wakes up, she has a conversation with B about shapes in which she says this.
and anxiety and I don't know, what you're going through, it exists. I thought when I came home, I felt so safe here, and everything made sense for a few days. And then all this, and it's gonna be okay. We'll figure this out. I'm so scared. I know, we're all scared, but we're gonna make it. And you should get some sleep. Mm,
May has dissociation disorder, which basically means she might feel disconnected from life, herself, memories, or reality as a whole. This doesn't go too hard on my final analysis, but it is worth noting because it changes how she views herself and the world, maybe even perceiving herself as not a person and just shapes, as to why it would explain why she's so hard on herself and why it's hard for her to find an identity. Near the end of the game, May has a conversation with a cat-like god. CG tells May that she is swimming further and further out to sea, and beyond are things blind and terrible. I believe this means that May's consciousness is telling herself that if she keeps going how things are going right now, she will be too deep in her own mess and won't be able to swim back up. Another thing CG mentions is this: there is a hole at the center of everything, and it is always growing. Between the stars, I am seeing it. It is coming, and you are not escaping it, and the universe is forgetting you, and there's nothing to remember. To put this simply, the hole represents May's heart, or that sinking feeling I was talking about earlier. It keeps growing throughout the game because May keeps messing up, and she feels like a failure because of it. And with seeing all their friends moving up in life, it makes her feel forgotten. Hence why CG says the universe is forgetting her. It's her consciousness speaking to herself about her fear of her friends forgetting and leaving her behind. I feel like CG is very influential because it's May's way of clarifying herself, figuring out why she feels the way that she does about herself and the things about her. May and B decide to go on a road trip to a party in another town. The party was hosted by a girl named Jackie, and B really wanted to show up. So they head to the party and we learn that Jackie doesn't really like May at all. Or at least that's what May tells the audience. Later on during the party, May, Jackie, and B have a conversation with these two college guys. While they are talking about their stuff, at one point May mentions her dead grandpa. Right after she does that though, she mentions B's mother's death. To make matters worse, she tries to make the college boys feel bad for going to college, which obviously she's trying to do to make herself feel better about not going to college. I don't know if she's trying to seem cool during the conversation or not, but regardless, she's kind of being an asshole here, which in a way sums up her character for a big portion of the game. May can be inconsiderate and sometimes even just an asshole. Well, I don't want to be too blunt, but that's the nicest way I can put it. May is struggling throughout the game, but she struggles to put others' issues before hers at times, which I would say is even a bit selfish. May does have good intentions though most of the time, but this time around she's just being a slight bit selfish. B took May to this party to have fun, and instead of doing so, May ruins the mood by trying to bring those around her down. Now I do understand May is going through issues as well, but just because that's the case, I'm not going to say what she did is okay. Anyway, B runs out of the party because she was asked if she went to college and didn't want to answer. Jackie calls out May for her behavior and says, "Back in high school, I always told B you were glad to know I was right." May had really messed up here because not only did she try to insult the college boys, it seemed like she was trying to put B down in this situation. She put her on blast about her mom, about her not going to college and living in Possum Springs. She embarrassed her in front of all of these people to impress them, which I would assume is what B's point of view is. I really like May's character though because it's obvious that she isn't perfect at all. She makes so many mistakes, whether it's with good intentions or not. And I think here It's where we really see how May is. We've seen all her flaws up to now, and this is probably one of her biggest ones. She tries to help, but a lot of times it comes off as snobby or just inconsiderate, which in this case she was being very inconsiderate. I don't want to jump to the conclusion that she was trying to put B down, because I know that's not 100% true. Regardless if it was true or if she tried to or not, it's what happened. When May finally finds B, they have another conversation, which I will show you now. So after seeing all these things, I think this is kind of where the dissociation thing comes into play. May doesn't understand what she did wrong because it's hard to process others' feelings, even when it comes to her own. B goes to these parties to get away from her old life, and May basically exposes everything about her at this party. Does she know any better? No, but she still messed up again. And this is what makes B's relationship with May difficult. May knows nothing about B ever since senior year. She's just moved back into town, and every time they have a meet together, May messes it up because she doesn't understand the things that B is going through. And my point from earlier makes a return. May has her issues so high up that it seems like she can't even fathom the fact that some people might have it worse than her. She has it in her head that her not going to college is so great and boasting about it to everyone that she's kind of forgetting that, hey, B is going through this right now. Like, I'm not the only one going through something. I gotta remember, like, I can't just be saying all these random things when I don't know if it's okay for me to mention that. Am I saying May can't be happy about not going to college though? No, of course she can. But if you have your friend, best friend even, boasting about not going to college while the person next to you is struggling and you're all they have, I would be mad at you too, bro. Now, I don't want to give the benefit of the doubt, but this is still due to her illness, and I would even like to bring back CG. He tells May that everything she has is slipping away, and that's because of herself and her actions. If she doesn't change, she's going to just keep pushing people away. She isn't being aware, and maybe it's not on purpose, but it doesn't mean change can't come her way. At the end of the conversation, B and May do end up coming back together. May is still trying to change, trying to make herself better for her friends. At the end, B calls May a good person. Her actions never come from a place of malice, which kind of contradicts my other statements from a few seconds ago. I was just flaming you. A few seconds ago, I was on her, but I chill out. And every time she messes up, she tries to fix herself. Moving on. When May and her friends are leaving the mines after discovering the dark truth of what they are really planning, May speaks to herself, or into space, and has a realization where she says this. This is what I was saying before. May finally realizes how to care for other people. After all the interactions she has with her friends, she's found something to hold on to. She's let go of her dissociation disorder. Well, I don't know if it's exactly letting go, but she does manage to overcome it, becoming a better person at the end of it all. She doesn't want to let go of her friends, but when the time comes, she wants it to hurt, because they are people she cares about. For the first time in a while, she's able to see past her illness and see what she really needed to hold on to the whole time. After all the events of the game, B and May have one last conversation. I'll show it now, then analyze it after. The two friends have one last talk about planning a road trip, where May says that even though she's scared to leave home, B is home enough for her. After everything they've been through, they have learned a lot about each other. May needed someone to help her become a better person through her dissociation and all the mental issues that she was going through, while B needed someone to help brighten her days, be there for her when no matter what. And by the end of the day, they found great appreciation for each other. After the talk and the rest of the gang come in, May decides it would be good for them to just have one normal day without any shenanigans. Play one last song, one last time. So out of all the topics and things we talked about today, I've come to my final conclusion. This story at its core is about hope and change. One of the biggest quotes in the entire game is, "At the end of everything, hold on to anything." How does this represent hope? What does this quote mean? When you are at your darkest time, at your lowest, you need something or someone that you can hold on to pick yourself back up again. May, throughout the entirety of the game, feels like she's at the lowest, that she's alone, and that nobody is there for her. Even though they always show compassion and show support, it's not until later that she realizes that she doesn't have to do this alone. That even if her friends are making these big life changes or doing better things, that she's not by herself. She wasn't being left behind, she was refusing to take herself with them. May was putting herself on a lower pedestal than the others. While yes, she had a bad look on most people, when it came to her friends though, she viewed them as better than her. Not in a jealousy way, but in a way that she felt like she couldn't compare to them. But we go to my other point earlier, where I say each friend is going through a rough time. All of them were going through something. But even through everything that was going on, they all leaned on each other. May struggled a lot in this game, from depression, dissociation, and being an immature mess. With the help of those around her, though, she manages to pull through. At times, she was being selfish or inconsiderate. But with the help of B, they end up fixing things together. B helps guide May to being a great friend and even a better person, calling her out on mistakes, which gives May the opportunity to reflect, to understand what she's doing isn't okay. At May's darkest times, at the times where she's being the worst person in the moment, her friends were there for her, there to let her know that things are just gonna be fine, because nobody was going to leave her by herself. May didn't have to do this alone, and when she realizes this, things change for her. In her last set with her friends, they have a talk, they all make plans one last time, showing that even after every bump in the road, they will not abandon each other even if they go their separate ways or do their own thing. Because at the end of everything, they held on to anything, and that was each other. Thank you guys for watching this video. This took a very long time to make. I know it's pretty lengthy. Most of it is clips. That's what a lot of the length comes from. But yeah, I do apologize for the 50-minute video. But if you did stay to watch the all 50 minutes, I shout out to you, bro. This took me like 3 days because I was replaying the game. I don't know if I said that. I'm pretty sure I did. I was replaying the game, and a lot of it, the script is kind of messed up. Like it's good, it's pretty accurate. I don't have any like changes really. There are a few things like where I say mostly about May, the comments I make about May, where I'm like, oh, I kind of make it seem like she's selfish, but that's not what I was trying to say. My point was that like she didn't really learn how to see other people's emotions better until at the very end. I made it sound like, oh, she was a selfish loser who didn't really care about her friends. That's not what my point was, but I did come across that way. Not really a big issue, but I do want to clear that up too. And then another thing is I was making this as I was going along, so there was definitely probably times where it seemed like it was, wait, didn't you just say this? So I was kind of contradicting myself because I was making the script as I was playing the game because I was scared I was going to forget stuff, and I probably would have forgotten a lot of stuff. Like I wanted to make sure I knew everything word for word. So I was like, okay, when I see a quote that I think is going to hit or I need to put it in, I'm going to do it as soon as I see it. Stuff like that. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. If you want more analysis videos, I got you. Just let me know if you want for suggestions. If I do another analysis video, it might be a show. But yeah, I might do Chainsaw Man again sometime soon. But yeah, see y'all.